Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Kraly. I am the orchestra director at Bayport High School in Wisconsin. For those of you who don't know where that is close to a city called Green Bay. Go Packers. There we go. If you're a Giants fan or a Jets fan, I'm really sorry. So, we are here on a concert tour to promote a couple of different things. We are here to experience New York City. We are experiencing culture. We are experiencing Broadway shows. We went to go see one the other night, The Outsiders. Absolutely wonderful. Kids had a wonderful time. But we are also here to promote Wisconsin composers. The first piece that you are going to hear is called a Wisconsin tableau. The composer, her name is Carrie Lane Grizel. She lives in the Fox Valley area of Wisconsin, which is approximately 45 minutes south of where we call home. Carrie has been a lifelong educator and writer of string music for 35 years. She recently retired from teaching about 8 to 10 years ago, dedicating most of her life now to just composing, especially for string orchestras. The piece that you are going to hear is called a Wisconsin tableau. We are playing 3 movements of this. The first movement is called the Wisconsin River. And what it basically is her rendition of what the Wisconsin River is. And obviously, some of us that are from Wisconsin, we know the Wisconsin River quite well. We've either been on it boating, fishing, okay? It goes right through the center part of the state of Wisconsin. It's a very easygoing river that just kind of flows all the way from the northern part down into the Mississippi River down by La Crosse, Wisconsin. So that is the first one. The second movement that we are playing for you is called the Peshtigo Fire. Now, this was actually a terrible, terrible thing that happened in the history of the state of Wisconsin. It doesn't get a lot of nationality because it happened on the same day as the Great Chicago Fire. 1,600 acres were burned in northern Wisconsin on that fateful day. Hundreds upon hundreds of people died. It was one of the worst travesties that we've had in not only our state, but our nation. What you will hear in that second movement is a sense of uneasiness at first, and then you will hear kind of the fire roaring in, and then finally, after a couple of days, the fire burns itself out. And our last movement that we will be playing for you is entitled Rib Mountain. Rib Mountain is in the central part of the state. It is a recreational area with a lot of hiking, with a lot of skiing, with a lot of just, how should I say, fun. It really is a wonderful place. We thank you for being here this afternoon. We appreciate all of your support. We would like to thank the church for hosting us today. This is a wonderful, amazing facility that you have here. We are blessed, very blessed to be here. And we hope you enjoy our first piece, a Wisconsin tableau. Thank you very much. That's a fun piece to play. We hope you really, really enjoyed it. For our next set, we're going to play a series of movements for Suite for String Orchestra by Tom Ritter George. And let me explain to you a little bit about who Tom Ritter George is and his relation to the state of Wisconsin. First of all, if you read anything about Tom Ritter George, you will also find that, first of all, he is, for many years, a professor at the University of Idaho. And so he was out there for a long time as the composer, artist in resident out there. I first got in touch with him back in 2000 and, actually I believe it was 2001, somewhere around in there. Dr. George then wrote a piece specifically for the high school that I was teaching at by the Milwaukee area at that time. And he wrote a piece called A Scottish Fantasy. Scottish Bouquet, I'm sorry, not Scottish Fantasy, Scottish Bouquet. And this was for violin solo and string orchestra. He wrote it for his daughter, Samantha George, who at the time was the associate concertmaster of the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Samantha and I have known each other for a very long time. She's a dear friend of mine. She currently, right now, is the violin professor at Lawrence University Conservatory of Music in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is about 30 miles south of where we are in Green Bay. And again, she's been a good friend of mine for 25 years, even longer than that. So I have found his music to be very enjoyable to play, enjoyable to teach. The kids that I've had play his music have always had a wonderful, wonderful time playing his stuff. He's also a bit of a humorist, and let me explain what I mean by that. When I was emailing him back and forth back in 2000, 2001 with this piece that we were going to be playing with his daughter as soloist and myself, he hinted to me this one day. He's like, well, I have another piece out there that no one ever plays, and if you're interested, Chris, I would love to have your kids play it. And I was like, sure, what piece is this? Well, it's a concerto for tuba and string orchestra. And I had never heard of that before. And so I called up my friend Al Baer, who at the time was principal tuba player in the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. He is now the principal tuba player of the New York Philharmonic here in town, okay? And I asked him if he would be interested in doing it. After he stopped laughing for about 5 minutes, he said, yes, I would love to do that. And so we actually did another piece of his called the Concerto for Tuba and Strings by Tom Ritter George back in 2006 as well. The Suite for String Orchestra is based on 4 different movements. You will hear the first movement called, what is the name of that again? Under the Greenwood Tree. Thank you, Elise. So, Under the Greenwood Tree. It's a very short first movement, so don't be surprised if it just kind of starts and then it kind of ends really quickly. The second one that we had a contest a couple weeks ago, and to see who could say it with the best British accent. So, who won that one, by the way? Who won that contest? Do we remember? Was it Lila? Okay, so Lila is going to stand, and she is going to tell you the name of the second movement with her best British accent. Okay? No pressure, Lila. By the way, this was not planned. I'm really putting her on the spot here.
No, Lila.
Okay, all right, hold on.
There was a pretty lass.
So, in other words, there was a pretty lass. There you go. The third movement of this is a very, very beautiful, beautiful movement. One of the most beautiful slow movements you'll ever hear. It's called Wayfarer. It might bring a tear to your eye, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And then our last movement that we're going to be playing, and our final piece for you today, of our 7 that we're playing for you, is Good Queen Bess. I would like to thank so many people personally that have helped this trip happen. Number one, chaperones. Thank you so much for everything that you have done, okay? I don't think anyone really wants to spend an entire week around teenagers, and these guys actually kind of volunteered to do that. I was like, you want to do this? You're not being forced to. Like, you're not being kicked out of the house for anything. And they wanted to do it. Because not only did they want to experience this, I think they also wanted just to spend some time with these amazing young adults that I get to teach every day. So chaperones, thank you. I would like to thank Music Celebrations International for their complete professionalism that they have given us with this tour, checking up, seeing how things are going, anything we can do to help. Thank you. Amy, thank you. Jake, really appreciate it for all of your professionalism. You cannot have a successful tour in New York City without a really great tour guide. We have been blessed to have, honestly and truly, one of the best tour guides I have been associated with. And so, Matt, we would like to thank you for everything that you have done for us this week. We couldn't be happier that you're with us. Thank you for everything. We really appreciate it. And that offer still stands. Matt is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Why? I have no idea. But anyway, you're more than welcome to come to Green Bay. If they ever play the Packers, you can stay at our house. We'll be more than happy to have the dog sleep with you. That would be great. So, and I would be remiss if I did not thank the administration, the school board, and our community back home of Howard Suamico. Special thanks to Dr. Smith, our district administrator, and everyone that we have at Bayport High School who, when we left, I got a lot of emails saying good luck, have a great time, all that stuff. I am truly blessed to have not only great kids, great parents, but also really great administrative staff. So, without further ado, we hope you enjoy the Suite for String Orchestra by Tom Ritter George. Thank you. Again, thank you very much for coming this afternoon. We really appreciate all of you being here. Thanks again to this wonderful church for their acoustics and the history and everything that they have given us today. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. You are done with your instruments and put them away. Put the stands away, please. Okay.